where I stay. I moved here 11 years ago. Orko was badly bullied. I was so upset and frustrated with the whole thing. I wrote in the parents' WhatsApp group one day, and I said, of that whole building, some 4 or 5 parents reached out to me. Nobody bothered. Nobody bothered. And they don't have time. They don't care actually.
Actually, the education system, as much as it may claim to be inclusive, is far from actually having acceptance. I tried doing that with the entire tribe of people who were supporting one of my child and explained to them, this is not them trying to challenge your authority. This is them just trying to be able to be comfortable and express. I was shut down. The parent changed me only as the therapist because I was not helping the child behave the way the teacher was expecting them to behave in class. And when they did do exactly what you asked them to, you were not happy because it didn't meet the format you expected it to present in.
It's such a broad, wide spectrum.
Exactly.
Somewhere we all are.
That spectrum.
How can you define that, know? How can you say
this person is
neurodiverse? Absolutely.
All of us sitting here, we have traits. So, to ask a very commercial question, which I don't really want to, but let's just take that question, which is, how soon can a parent see improvement if the child is taking drama therapy?
I mean, it really...
Again, I've come back to the neurotypical question.
If you want me to prove when the product materialized. So, I mean, honestly, you can't. Because every human being is so subjective. You say autism spectrum because everybody, as much as you have these standardized norms of how they will present, they are so different. And so you see engagement happening from day one. But what you want that engagement to look like in terms of tomorrow they should be able to perform in school, go up on stage. That really, there's no way of knowing, telling. If you have to move with the body, you have to really move at the pace the body trusts. You can't say that 3 months time, ready kar dungi. Nahi hoga. Very honestly. And there's also life that's happening. So you have to always keep that under consideration. I might say, okay, we're just working with this one goal. Let's do a short-term group of 3 months and try to see where we are at the end of these 3 months with these targeted goals. But then life events happen, things happen that need to be taken into account. Automatically, that goal could shift. Something else could need more support at that moment than those goals that we were originally working for. So even with any client who comes in and asks me this, I'd say it really depends on you, where you're at in your journey, and how we can build that support to the point you don't need the therapist. You can take care of yourself when the therapist is absent. And if that is happening, great, check in only when you need. So the hope is with every therapist, ideally, to help the client who's dependent on the therapist wean off from the need of relying here, be able to come back to their core of wisdom and support themselves. And we are here till that is feeling possible. And anytime you feel like it's slipping back in the way, you can come back and adjust, revisit the process however you need. Yeah,
wow.
I wish I could say 2 months done, but it's not like that.
Autism is such a broad spectrum. The challenges are so different one from the other. It's very difficult to gauge who will be able to do what at
And if you're following a dynamic process, then you have to keep attuned to what is going on with the child's experience or the adult's experience. You can't just narrow it down to those 3 goals and keep working on that.
Just with everybody, not just our children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With all of us, for that matter.
All of us. You can't expect everyone to excel in everything.
So true. And unfortunately or fortunately, there are a lot of parents who are seeking out more immediate solutions like
Yeah.
an Instagram. Can I do a laser therapy? Can I do almost the equivalent of what a lobotomy used to look like, and why we as therapists get our name as shrinks, where you break off a little part of the brain. They're not doing the same thing with autism. What they're doing is they're beaming lights. They're trying different electromagnetic field work. They're trying to send waves and see if it changes. It offers different kind of support externally. But I would argue that if you look at music therapy, it functions on different frequencies. It's doing that non-invasively. It's pushing the brain to find grounding, calming with the rhythm harmony that it's pulling out. So yeah, it's really
These are
coming back.
beautiful ways to get the wiring back into place, probably, rather than these invasions.
I mean, see the wiring. If I have to say, it is in itself very beautiful and needs to be sort of supported. We don't want the person to lose the essence of who.
We
he
don't
or
want to
she
lose
is. Yeah.
Orko's strokes.
Lines.
Yeah.
We
right?
don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So their uniqueness needs to be,
Empowered,
intact.
enabled, but also supported to meet the real time world. I mean, today if I say that say the truth everywhere to my autistic clients, I wouldn't feel like I'm doing justice to them as a therapist and preparing them for all the different natures of conversations that they're going to meet. So are they going to work with white lies told to them? How will they support? Like I have a client who used to, who mid-30s, pretty much very similar to Orko's age, who was addicted to alcohol, autistic, and their father had passed away. So post their father passing away, their addiction became deeper. So when I'm working with them, if I'm not helping them cope with the underlying trauma of losing their parent, if I'm not helping them also cope with the addiction, there were friends of him who would come and ask him for money, and उसके pocket में जितना 20 रुपए 200 रुपए जो भी है वो दे देता उसको. So if I'm not teaching them to ask for boundaries with their money and all, I'm not preparing them enough also. So while it's great to celebrate all these beautiful strengths and purity, we have to prepare that
for the
framework
real world.
to also coexist with our reality.
Yeah, because they are true.
Yeah.
When they meet the world, it's full of.
That is the biggest challenge.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, Orko has no concept of money. No concept of money. So where he goes now to the workshop, they are teaching these kids, they say, bring small amounts, 20 rupees, and we'll do some shopping. If I buy something for 3 rupees, how much is left with me? He has no concept of money. At one time, he was very smart. He used to switch on, use the calculator as a mobile phone, and which is okay. Why not?
Yeah, eventually
But-
everybody's on
Yeah.
calculators.
But you know what? So that is where the next bit. See, the child is born, the child goes to school, the child, a regular, a normal, child, college, then starts working, one day will get married, etc. With our children, what happens? Where you can leave any amount of money for them, but if they don't know how to handle that money, then what is the point? And then, in our case, we are fortunate that Orko has an elder brother. Okay. But the thing is that now we are in that situation today. And these are very important things which we never thought of when Orko was a child. Every parent draws a will. Okay. Now, in our case, how does Orko, he doesn't know how to handle money. He won't be able to do anything. So then everything is left to his brother. Okay. Now his brother one day says that, what if something happens to me? Have you ever thought of that? And we are actually going through that situation. So there is no point in doing a will. So we've been advised now do a trust.
Trust, yes, is what I've heard.
Now with families getting smaller and smaller, in our case, my husband has an older brother who has no children and he's an American citizen. We need somebody young, not somebody as old as us or older than us. We need somebody young who will be there even when we are not there. I have a brother who's an American citizen. He has 2 sons, American citizens. They've born, brought up over there, but they can't be part of the trust.
Oh.
Which we didn't know. So the family ends over there. With families getting smaller and smaller, so we are in a situation where, who in the trust? Other than, of course, my son is there, and it's like we are actually going crazy. We are in that final thing of doing the triya.
Building the trust.
And a lot of parents, I work with another space where the average age of the population is about 35 to 65 ke beech mein. So it's 55. And their parents who are 80-year-old, 85-year-old have to send them to these daycare centers and residencies because they need help and they need support right now, and they're still trying to figure out how to maneuver the support their child, but who is a full-grown adult needs. It's a very uncommon trajectory for parents of neurodivergence, and there's a lot of empathy and support needed for the parents also to understand this.
I mean, when you have a child who's challenged, the kind of day-to-day challenges that parents have to go through, it's not easy. Simple things like, he's not talking to me, she has behaved badly with me, why didn't he say hello? Then why can't I talk to so-and-so? Why can't I do this? Every day he will get back with his whole thing of going to the workshop is that, he wants to drop 1 or 2 people on his way back. And his teachers have said, no, you can't do that. You can drop so-and-so one day and so-and-so another day. That's it. Otherwise, no. And then the teacher calls me up and says, we also have to follow rules and regulations. I said, please tell him that. Tell him that. But the thing is that, he'll come back with a long face. I said, do you go there to drop people? So his father said, maybe I should buy a bus. And let him.
He's just trying to connect to people. He's
that community.
After his first exhibition, lot of papers came and interviewed him and all that. I think the Times of it. Anyway, they interviewed him and said, Orko, what will you do with the money? He had no clue. Money, what money, etc. He had nothing. He said, I will buy a shed in a village and have lots of buffaloes, and I will buy one Omni and roam around with my friends.
Oh, wow.
That was his answer.
I love it. I love it.
His entire, whatever he loves, he's summed up. और वो दुनिया बस भी गई है. So beautiful.
So and then he said, why can't I keep cows and buffaloes? Then I'll make cheese. He's thought of the business part of it as well. Yeah. And this he said, not today, maybe 4-5 years. I can make cheese and sell. Then, when we used to go to Karchak, to our friend's farmhouse, and there was this, Baba Dairy or something over there in one corner, lots of buffaloes. Without fail, we always stopped there. And he would go and, and they sold samosas and milk and stuff like that. And Orko said, this samosa also has milk in it. I said, no, samosa doesn't have milk in it. No. He said, but I can sell mithai, I can make cheese, I can do so many things with buffaloes. And I said,
thoughtful.
And that his whole thing is, why can't we live in a village? I said, Orko, we've never lived in a village. We've nothing to do with, completely city people.
But you see,
difficult to make them understand, but it's...
Everything you're saying reminds me of Soumya Iyer, who used to do yoga for special needs at Bellevue. And she spoke about how nature is like, autism takes so naturally to nature and feels so grounded that you usually see them when they were wandering before in times, they would be under a tree, they'd be sitting and following a very simplistic routine. They love repetition. So, for example, she only mentioned that if she has digressed from her yoga routine, instead of doing Surya Namaskar, she's done something else. Ma'am, after this you're supposed to do Surya Namaskar. Why you don't do
Everything is
not
by
Surya?
the clock.
Yeah.
Everything is absolutely, you can't change. He will wake up in the morning, he will have his medicine, he will have his breakfast, then he will shave, and then he will go for a bath, and then he will, if you say, Orko,
Routine.
hurry up, Orko, today, okay, your face looks very clean, don't have to. But he's getting late over there. But he has to.
And that's
it's a
what.
routine they have to follow.
So just like this routine is there, now this is where we have to step in and also support life skill building, right? Now, you have a time to reach this space.
Correct.
I know you're used to
Yeah.
this routine. Agar ek din nahi hua to, that child or that person will hold anxiety, will hold a lot of distress. How to avoid that, the distress that comes with it? If one day the yoga teacher has not done exactly the same routine, how do you allow yourself to be okay with that? It's all right. This reality can also exist.
At times it happens. Orko, what? Maybe I've raised my voice. Orko, you're getting late. Finished. Why
You
is
hate
mommy
me.
shouting at me? Why is mama shouting at me?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is, and then my son, his brother, that way is very, very mature. He's always said, just don't do this.
Yeah.
I have to talk about his brothers, from a very
Yeah, I really wanted to know about how the sibling relation has been, a neurotypical and a neurodiverse. So, what are the challenges? What are the beautiful parts of it as well?
The difference between my two sons is 5 years and a few months. From a very young age, his brother's name is incidentally, I have to tell you, is how this name Orko happened. Because his brother believed he was He-Man as a child. These He-Man characters?
Yeah.
I used to play with those He-Man characters. He was the He-Man. And on his shoulders was Orko, the character, the magical character.
Oh.
And so when now his brother, who's Rajiv, otherwise, we always have a pet name as Chico. Chico. So Chico said, let's name him Orko. So he's Rajiv and Orko's Roshan, Chico and Orko. So Orko is my magical character who I will fly around with. I will take care of him. That's how. But we had no idea that Orko also had a beautiful meaning. The rays of the sun. And unknowingly, in Bengali, and unknowingly, Roshan is also light. Yeah. So anyway, from a very young age, Chico has been a very willing caregiver, I have to say, because I remember when he was in class 4, 9 years old, he used to tell us, Ma, Baba, why don't you all go out? If Orko has a seizure, I know exactly what to do. I will put him on his side, I will remove the pillow so that his head is flat, and he'll be fine. I will take care of him. From a very young age, Chico knew exactly what to do, and he was willing to, take care of his brother, and more so when he realized that, because our whole everything was was revolving around Orko, because those days we used to have to, every time he had a seizure, middle of the night, we would go to a nursing home to give him a Campo shot. Then of course things like rectal Campos and all that came into the market, but it was so Chico, then of course he grew up, etc. Now Chico is his, you have to have legal guardian once a child turns 18. So when Orko turned 18, my husband and I became his legal guardians, but we were told we cannot put Chico's name. We will have to do it later. So we've done through the courts. We've done that. We've done that. So Chico is his legal guardian because he's the only brother. Our family, there's hardly anybody. And now it's come to all this trust, etc. Chico is a very caring person. Otherwise also. When I've seen sides of Chico, which, a person being treated badly by the police, and I've seen Chico standing and just looking almost, about to interfere, and, generally he's a caring person. And of course, when it comes to his own brother, there is no doubt that. So, at least there we know, and Chico has made it very clear that wherever I am, Orko will be with me. But he also raised a very pertinent question, that what happens if something happens to me? Yeah. So that's where all this is happening, trust. But Chico, of course, is a very important part of framing, writing, talking to the legal people, doing everything.
So he's doing it willingly.
Yeah, he's doing it willingly. We have also said, Chico, we also have to be practical, right? What Chico's not married.
Exactly, is what I was asking.
Yeah.
Everybody has their individual lives. So be it Orko or be it Chico.
But Chico has now decided not to marry at all, which is a very sad thing. So the thing is that, for parents, it's, when he's 40, so obviously I would like to see my 40-year-old with her. But he has lots of friends. He's very busy with his work, so keeps himself very busy. But the thing is that, at least we feel that, okay, Chico is there. But, you know what? Someone told me yesterday, how much can you worry? Is it in your hands? After you're gone, you have no control over anything. So stop worrying. And then she gave me a lot of gyan on spirituality, this, that. So which is very good, very well-meaning.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I sat, but these are the realities of life.
Yeah.
Which we as parents have to deal with day in and day out.
Absolutely. True that.
Yeah. Which others won't realize. If everything had been okay with Orko today, what would Orko have been? Would have been working today? Would have been married? Yeah. So,
trajectories of so many lives would have looked so different.
But Orko's uniqueness wouldn't have been there.
You know what? When Orko had so many problems, seizures, day in and day out, we are running to doctors, not knowing where to go. We were also 30 years younger. We were also young at that time. And we didn't have a clue about what was happening. What can we do next? My husband was busy with work, and I used to call him and he would come running and then take him to some doctor or the other. In all this, believe it or not, maybe I'm stupid, I always knew something very creative would come out of Orko because of both my husband and me. He comes from an exceptionally creative family. Even I come from, my mother's side, my mother. So the thing is, I was always interested in the arts, the crafts and everything, handmade. I love textile, even now. The cottage does not exist, but I continue doing work from home. And because I also support women.
Correct.
So the thing is that I always felt that, no, everything. Of course, the biggest hurdle for any parent is acceptance.
Yes.
Biggest hurdle, which many parents can't. And it's a long journey into accepting. But once you accept, then every achievement, how small it is huge. It's huge, And I felt that, I always felt that, no, it cannot be all bad.
Yeah.
Something has to come out of this. We exposed him to books. We gave him books. We gave him colors. We gave him drawing sheets, Gave him whatever he needed so that, let his mind open up. today he says, Baba, why don't you paint? If you paint, I'll sit and paint with you. Now, Baba is very busy writing. So he has no time to paint. He's finishing, his...
The targets.
The books that he's, So the thing is that, but I was pretty this thing that, something would come out of this.
And if I can just echo one thing that you said, which is so important for parents, especially of neurodivergence, to understand what acceptance in its truest sense looks without conditions. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're saying that there's so much of nourishment and nurturing you offered to those creative, spontaneous parts of Orko to explore what his vocabulary, his given expression could look like. Right? That in some ways is extending acceptance to the fact that I don't know what your creative gifts, your abilities are. I'm willing to explore with you what that can look like. Right? And a lot of parents don't realize that they're projecting their own goals, their own needs onto the child.
True.
They want the child to communicate the way they wish they would have communicated in that. And your child doesn't have to be a torchbearer of your dreams and your hopes and goals. I know your world revolves around this child, so you want to see the best. But just like, say, Sir is writing books, he's not imposing that Orko also has to be writing and writing this well and writing like this. You have to be able to articulate yourself. He's also recognizing that the paint and the way he uses a different kind of blank canvas. And that's fine. That's what parents also need to be able to really follow through with at some level. And thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
That's a huge, big challenge. And not all can accept. There are lots of problems. Problems of blame game, problems of, in-laws, parents,
I want my
society.
I want my child to function like the neurotypical in his class, say the answer, say the speech as confidently.
I'll tell you, when my eldest son was in school, very good school in Bombay, I remember a parent of a mother of his friend, who was also my friend, how she told me one day that, these 3-4 boys in class, I don't even know why the school keeps them. Their parents, what kind of parents? They can't follow anything in class and etc. etc. And where my son came and told me, all of class 5, my son, he came and said, Ma, I think so-and-so has problems. He can't write from the blackboard. He can't, I think they have problems. And where his friend's mother was telling me what kind of upbringing, they don't know what to, they should not send this, the school should. My son is being affected by these children. So I've even had to hear all this, I've heard all this. But the thing is that, it's a journey. Journey, we all go through our journeys. This is slightly more complicated, complex. But I guess, everything, maybe, everything will see an end somewhere, but, it may not,
Now, I think moreover, educating or giving awareness to neurodiverse, I think neurotypicals should be given more of information about this so that they know how to accommodate and not give such comments. If they are educated, they are, given awareness about what autism is, be it school, be it the society. So there was this case just a few months ago. A parent gave us a call that, I have been getting a lot of complaints from the school. So I've been called for a parent-teacher meet. And secondly, in the society as well, a lot of, parents are talking amongst themselves that this child, just avoid him because he's hitting and, things like that. So my child has been left aloof. So what should I be doing? So what I did was I connected the parent to a psychologist. And she gave a very beautiful answer. She said, you simply need to go and speak to those parents and make them aware of what your child is going through. He is on the spectrum. This is how he behaves. And this behavior is coming out of something that is disturbing him. So kindly understand him rather than, just separating him from the group. So educate them. Go and talk to them. Don't just sit in the house and sulk. Rather go talk to them. In fact, by doing this, you're educating those 5 people. You're giving them information. So they are also aware. Secondly, the same way she did tell her to go to school and tell the teacher that, go and tell the teacher, explain the teacher that yes, my child has certain needs. Please cater to that. Or if you can't, let's just find a pathway and let's sort this out rather than, just having that barrier.
But there's so much stigma and shame.
Yeah, you can answer this well.
Where I stay, I moved here 11 years ago. Orko was badly bullied. Very badly bullied. So I was so upset and frustrated with the whole thing. And I wrote in the parents' WhatsApp group one day. And I said, of that whole building, some 4 or 5 parents reached out to me. Nobody bothered. Nobody bothered. And they don't have time. They don't care actually.
They
don't care.
The education system, as much as it may claim to be inclusive, is far from actually having acceptance at different levels. Just like what you were saying, right? What's our next step? Build awareness, create proactive action towards building the support the child needs. I tried doing that with the entire tribe of people who were supporting one of my child and explained to them that this child who's talking through the protractor, the geometry box, and explaining, this is not them trying to challenge your authority. This is them just trying to be able to be comfortable and express. What I didn't say in that story was, I was shut down. The parent changed me only as the therapist because I was not helping the child behave the way the teacher was expecting them to behave in class. For me, when they told me the story, I thought it was a big win that the child managed to engage in class, express themselves, give the answer, which they previously wouldn't. They just keep, sitting and rubbing their legs. And when they did do exactly what you asked them to, you were not happy because it didn't meet the format you expected it to present in. And that has been the biggest challenge, beyond the point. You do psychoeducate, but you have to open your heart up with compassion to understand different levels of truth. Just like your child, doesn't matter if it's neurodiverse or neurotypical, there are different skills, strengths, challenges your child has. Similarly, this is another child who's experiencing a different kind of challenge. It might not be your regular style challenge, but how do you bring compassion, tolerance to understanding that and build acceptance from there? It starts from the education system. Also, parents are doing so much at home to build that. Then if the system at bay is not supporting them, it's very demotivating for that parent also. At some point, the parent will start subscribing to what you are saying is the acceptable norm of behavior. And they will think that their child is too divergent for their own good. The truth is, we are all neurodivergent.
So absolutely.
Okay?
So true.
We have trained ourselves to become neurotypical. Function in, we have this podcast format, so I wouldn't get up and dance and tell you how I'm feeling. I will sit myself down and talk. Though my body naturally would like to express this way, right? If you just start actually noticing all these things we say are autistic features or neurodivergent features, focus, a lot of things catching your attention.
Human features, I think.
Exactly what Ram sir would also say, that we all have these tendencies, idiosyncrasies.
But you know what? It's such a broad, wide spectrum.
Exactly.
Somewhere we all are.
All
in that
are on that
spectrum.
spectrum.
How can you define that, you know? How can you say
This person is
neurodivergent? Absolutely.
All of us sitting here,
Yeah.
we have traits.
Somewhere we are.
Yes.
If you go back to this footage, you'll see me looking at the makhi, looking at this, looking at the table. My neurodivergence only.
But today it has reached a point that in the evening, Orko, why don't you go down? Go and cycle. He stopped. He just doesn't want to go down. So I can see that how lonely he's become.
Yeah.
And we are trying everything to, we don't want to get him get him depressed.
I know.
We doing counseling.
This is what I don't really.
Yeah. It's a fact. These are the facts of life.
Which I don't quite like.
This is from a parent's
I know.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can't just always be merry. But yes, these are also things that parents go through day in and day out. Definitely.
These are the hard truths.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, tall guy. And he wants to play with small children who are half his size. They don't want to play with him. And the people who really understand him are Chico's friends.
Right.
They, when they are in town or, if someone comes, and they go out, they'll go to the bowling alley, they'll go to a regular. Chico tries very hard to give him a normal life. But for a very long time, he did not live in Bombay. Now, currently, he is. So Chico kind of, will take him to a pub, will take him bowling, will take him somewhere or the other. Let him have a... My fear is with lights, flashing lights, that Orko can get a seizure.
Yeah.
Because the other day, Chico took him out and said, let him have a seizure. What will happen? Nothing will happen. So I had palpitations, but they came back. Nothing had happened. But as a mother, my worry is always because he's broken his collarbone, his elbow. He's been admitted to the ER so many times. The last bad one was last August on the day of Rakhi. And then cuts, such bad cuts that his whole face had to be literally stitched up here, there, nose, everywhere.
Because of this
Fall
Seizure
risk.
and fall.
There's fall risk. No? With epilepsy, you can't control your bodily movements. So you can fall anywhere. If you're not supported, it can really cause a lot of injury.
truths that you can't hide from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so coming back to another commercial question of mine would be how much of drama therapy is used in schools to help children in academics?
I think there's more and more awareness of integrating creative arts in the education system and healthcare system. So you are seeing it get infused in major treatment spaces. If you look at North America, Europe, Australia, it's already infused in clinical healthcare. But in India, it's a very nascent concept. I think if you look at Bangalore, you'll see that it's been pioneering a lot of arts in education for autistic children. Just the other day, I was talking to someone and they spoke about how they've created a technology that allows the child to press different buttons that indicate their need. So if they're selectively mute or pre-verbal, they can use that soundboard to communicate their need. And that is something their company has developed to help and aid the children working with them. So those ways, I think spaces like Bangalore are showing by taking actions which are leap years ahead of time, how arts can be integrated within the existing foundation. But if you had to ask me how many schools, colleges, you're seeing this already integrated in, very few and far between. It's building its prevalence, and what you might find is one person with some background in facilitating expressive arts therapy, music therapy in the process. And while it's getting there, it's not enough. And more
needs to be done.
Yeah, but set aside budgets for this being integrated, not just for your neurodivergent children, for all children. You know?
All children.
And one more silly question, if I may ask. So, can you integrate drama therapy or can you do it at home?
Yes. The whole hope is that once you understand these tools, you can play with it on your own time, in your own space. And things that I always encourage parents to follow is imagine if you had to attribute a character to it. It might be very difficult for them to think of it, but it's like, ye kaun yaad dilata hai? Samosa man? I'm just going to play with the samosa man example, okay? Alright, samosa man ko abhi kya chahiye? I had a little boy who used to talk through this British character. Whenever they had to express, they said, David is feeling this way. Okay? They wouldn't say, I'm feeling this way. And I was mind blown because they also had an accent and stuff like that. And when I asked the parents how they learned it, it was through watching YouTube videos. They didn't have the parents who were from south of India. They had a very strong accent that reflected where they are from. This child
was the opposite.
was speaking like a proper Britisher. And whenever they had to talk about something uncomfortable, they would say, David doesn't want to talk anymore. David would like to move away now. Okay. So I always encourage parents to follow that curiosity through with a story, with a character. And that's how you can the easiest way to bring drama therapy home is in just creative curiosity. But another way that you can definitely look at bringing drama therapy home is taking that essence of, what you observe in sessions, what works for your child, and giving that more power. So if you see that your child is able to talk more easily when they are doodling, let them have that doodle. Let them do that little running before coming into a conversation. So there are many ways you can bring it back home, and I could get into it, but I won't take too much of your time.
No, you can, definitely.
Yeah. But things that I truly encourage is follow your child with curiosity. Don't assume what they need. Offer them opportunities to find different levels of creative expression so that you can see what the breadth of their vocabulary can look like. Don't assume that there's a right or wrong way of doing this. You are going to judge, right? But the intention you bring with it. So if I ask you, are you tired? I am somewhere judging you, right? But the intention is to check in on how you're feeling. So you don't feel threatened by that judgment. So when you are judging your child, remember that intention is to help them come closer to their truth, to their strengths, to their capacities to be the holistic individual they are. So try to meet them without pressure and with a lot more allowance of just being and compassion.
Just like the good tennis and the bad tennis.
Just expose them with, new things. Expose them to new things. Because I found with Orko that every child is curious. They want to, the first PC that came to our house was in 1994. Okay. And Orko saw his brother. Chico had this very curious mind. He was also small. And Orko also started, and then he started playing around with the mouse. And then what? Amazing drawings. I've lost it all. Because one of our relatives, who's also a filmmaker, very well known, he came to our house and said, I hope you're keeping a video or photo of this because nobody will ever believe Orko has done this, So nobody taught him. We didn't sit and teach him. I wouldn't be able to. Neither did Chico nor my husband. But the thing is that Orko was, with a mouse and animal after animal, he kept drawing. And then, he went on to learn other things. I kept giving him books, so he started reading. See, Chico's always been a voracious reader, so he never lay down in bed without a book at night. So Orko couldn't read, but he would picture read. So kept exposing him to, books and paper and color and, then things he saw in the house. So his eyes also opened up to, paintings, art, artifacts, He has this thing of, this is something I've noticed. If he's walking past and he'll see maybe a painting is a little crooked, he'll quietly walk up and straighten it. So, these are things I've noticed. And, so the thing is that So today Orko's very savvy on the computer. He can do PowerPoint, Excel, and he's learned all that.
And just
By
like
himself.
that, yeah.
No, the Excel PowerPoint was taught, but he can
But
do it. Yeah.
He's doing
But
Yeah, but
I've
we
known-
let him be. I remember a friend saying that, I've given my son the computer, mouse after mouse he's ruining. Let him. I'll buy another mouse. Doesn't matter.
I mean, there's a prolific drama therapist called Maria Hodemaska who has a son on the spectrum. And they did a therapeutic theatre play called Rule Breaking with another drama therapist called Cecilia Tintino. Both their sons acted in the play with them and talked about how we have to kind of challenge these notions, right, that people have about capacity and the rules. So in that, like you were mentioning, right, her child knew the entire NYC subway route in and out. Queen से कौन सा train शुरू होता है, कौन से बारों में जाएगा, in and out at the age of 5, 6. And that's how much capacity and potentiality is there. What I would encourage, my last tip to parents would be that don't be scared of exploring that. Don't hold back. You are the beginning of normalizing this experience. You feel perturbed by the fact that your child is feeling, everyone is going to radiate that energy and echo that energy back. So as soon as you are able to normalize it, not trivialize it, and be less afraid to own this truth out in the open, you're going to see there's more and more acceptance coming your way as well. And thank you for sharing that, because I remember when in Maria's story with Ethan, once this child, when Ethan was very young, there was a person who looked very distraught and was sitting there. Looked like a Wall Street person. Where the neurotypical could see the suit, boot, and the briefcase sideways. Her child could see sadness in his eyes. So he said, would you like an apple? Are you hungry? Okay. And the person said, no, thank you, and dismissed that offering. Okay. And she as a mother felt so sad that this child could see, is reaching out, is trying to empathize with you, but you're not seeing the strength of that child. And she spoke about how, whether I would have chosen to psychoeducate them, that what's going on, or not chosen to say anything at that moment. Let my son also work with the reality of things instead of me intervening and educating. But that thought, continues for me today in saying that it's not enough to build awareness. You can't just say that this is what you need to know. It's so important to follow it up with action. So if you're aware that your child communicates so easily through art, but it's so difficult for them, then what's the action you're taking to give that support without fear that, if they don't verbally communicate, they're going to be less than. So,
we don't realize what is going on in their heads. And I have seen, at least with my son, he sees a lot of things that we don't see. And I attribute a lot of his art that he does. His lines are different, etc., not perfect, but you see the eyes, you see the lines on that buffalo. I have seen Orko as a baby, wasn't scared, he would go and touch the buffalo. He's extremely observant. And that comes across, if he's done a portrait, the lines on the face, everything,
Very intricate.
Yeah, it's not perfect art. His lines are very different, but the person, the lines, the lips, everything you'll see, it's very great similarity. So he's extremely, extremely observant. And that comes across in his art.
Fantastic session, which I would not want to end, but so I'm so grateful that you two have been here and you'll have given just amazing insights and a lot of things that I have learned as well from you all today. I loved the sentence that we artistic and autistic.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Just one word.
Yes.
Different. One
So
letter.
thank you. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.